They will carry her through the great doors of Westminster Cathedral at dusk, and for a heartbeat London will go quiet. A royal requiem sung in Latin, incense lifting in slow curls. A congregation that knows when to stand and when to bow, because muscle memory does the thinking. It will look simple. It will not be simple at all. If you come to this channel for calm, grown-up royal analysis, less noise, more meaning, tap like now and subscribe, so you don't miss the next quiet turn of the wheel. Let's look closely at what this moment is really saying. The Duchess of Kent will be farewelled in the language of her faith, not the one the crown officially governs. That matters. A Catholic Mass for a royal in living memory is rare enough to be called historic, rarer still with the sovereign present. The late Queen signalled the courtesy of crossing thresholds when she attended King Baudouin's funeral in 1993. Her son will do the same here, not making a speech about tolerance, but sitting where the message is impossible to miss. Sometimes the most eloquent thing a monarch can do is simply take a seat. Watch the procession as it builds its own grammar. The king and queen enter together, duty on one arm, constancy on the other. Then the Prince and Princess of Wales, not grandstanding, not shrinking, just exactly where responsibility requires them to be. Catherine knows these rooms the way a musician knows a score, the pace that keeps a line dignified but human, the stillness that allows grief to breathe without turning into performance. William matches it, shoulders square, jaw settled, the look of a man who understands that continuity is not a word, it is a posture. You will hear the absence before you see it. No Duke of Sussex slipping into a back pew, no momentary reunions caught by long lenses and overpassed by tomorrow's pundits. There are reasons, there always are, security, timing, lives built an ocean apart. The palace will leave it at that. Still, in the long nave light, the empty space writes its own caption. The nation will watch a father, an heir, and a future queen hold the front line of a family that has not been whole for some time. Turn down the volume on the speculation, and notice the smaller truths. The Duchess of Kent stood back from the stage long ago, trading prominence for purpose. She walked the path Harry often points to when he talks about gentle arrangements, titles softened, attention reduced, duty recast. But moments like this remind us that parallels are rarely perfect. Times change. The institution changes with them or it doesn't, either way, the cameras arrive on schedule. What endures is the way a funeral distills a life into gestures. The devout woman is honored in the rites she chose. The crown honors her by showing up correctly. Look for the details that tell you the tone. The hush before the introit, when even the press benches forget to breathe. The ribbon of choir boys at the rail, their vowels floating under the vaults. The slow discipline of a royal household that knows how to move quietly through a city that rarely is. This is what Britain still does better than anywhere else. It turns logistics into ceremony, and ceremony into meaning without a single line read from a lectern. Catherine will carry more than flowers. She will carry a thread. There is a sister feeling that connects the Duchess to Diana, not because they were often photographed together, but because both women learned how to hold sorrow without making it cheap. Diana did it at hospital bedsides and in corridors that smelled of antiseptic and worry. The Duchess did it in parish halls and music classrooms where her faith felt most at home. Catherine picks that thread up without imitation, the steady face, the soft word, the refusal to make compassion theatrical. If you want the monarchy to feel like it still belongs in ordinary rooms, this is how it happens. And yet, because England loves a contrast, the politics of presence will sit beside the politics of absence. William and Catherine, shoulder to shoulder. With the king, will write one sentence, the future is showing up on time. Harry, far away, writes another, distance can be principled, painful, or practical, the cameras don't care which. Does it change the meaning of the day? No. Does it color the photographs? Of course it does. Photography has been telling royal stories longer than most of us have been alive. It always leaves something out. It always adds something in. There is a second story under the surface, and it isn't scandal, it's stamina. The king has spent the past year proving that soft power can be made of iron. His diary has read like a metronome: host, listen, steady, repeat. A requiem is a different register, but the same score. He makes space for life, he holds the center, he says nothing that would compete with prayer. If you want to know how a constitutional monarch matters in a secular century, this is a good page to study. He shows up for something larger than himself and lets that something do the speaking. For William, the lesson is plainer and tougher. He is asked to be both son and symbol, and to act as if those roles never collide. They do. Grief doesn't wait for good timing, reputations don't heal on your schedule, and the world will take whatever picture it likes. He cannot control whether a brother appears, he can control whether the crown looks like it knows what it is about. He will. He did not ask for the harder half of a famous pair, he inherited it. The work now is to turn constancy into habit, and habit into trust. Catherine's work is quieter and, because of that, more radical. In a culture that confuses noise with relevance, she reminds people that attention and care outlast headlines. Watch the way she greets the Duchess's family, not hurried, not sticky, just present. Watch the way she turns a condolence line from obligation into comfort. This is retail statecraft. Over time, it's the difference between a monarchy that feels remote and one that feels available. That is not a small difference. The mass itself will be the best argument for not overinterpreting. A Kyrie sung well doesn't need commentary, it needs silence and then air. The homily will talk about hope being stronger than death. The readings will do what readings have always done: stitch private loss into a larger story. When the choir lays down the last lux eterna, you will have your answer to the day's only real question: did we honor the dead and steady the living? If the answer is yes, it will not be because anyone delivered a clever line. It will be because everyone kept their footing. Does Harry's non-appearance erase that answer? No. Does it matter? Yes, in the way weather matters on a wedding day, you remember it, but you remember the marriage more. The open secret of modern royal life is that optics can bruise, but outcomes are slow. What endures from days like this are habits, of grace, of restraint, of proportion. Those habits outlast any one photograph, they also outlast any one quarrel. There will be other notes, lighter ones that belong in the record. The Duke of Kent's face, when an old hymn opens a memory he had not expected. The small smile that finds Catherine when a chorister fumbles and recovers. The way London's traffic surrenders for an hour to let a cortege pass. These things reassure an older country that still believes in choreography as a civic language. They remind younger eyes that dignity is not the same as distance. When the doors open again and the city's noise rolls back in, the headlines will divide themselves as they always do: who came, who didn't, what it means. Let them. The monarchy survives because it keeps scale. It knows when to fill the frame and when to step out of it. Today, the frame belongs to a woman who preferred choirs to cameras. The rest of us can learn from that. If this helped you see past the headlines and into the mechanics of the moment, give the video a like so more thoughtful viewers can find it, and subscribe. We'll be right here the next time the Crown says the most by saying the least. And tell me below, does the empty space change the way you read this day, or does the right speak loudly enough on its own?